Hey everyone, Cahlen here, and today I'm going to be discussing Bivy Sacks. So these are two Bivy Sacks or Bivy bags or just Bivies, which I have used, kind of been experimenting with over a period of time just to see how they work for, basically my purposes. So I've been living outside for a year and a half. My main purpose for a Bivy Sack is to make the kind of the foot box, the lower part of my sleeping bag, waterproof, because I like to roll around with a poncho as my shelter, which is smaller than a tarp. My tarp is 10 feet by 10 feet, but the poncho is more like 6 by 8 or something like that. And so my feet will stick out a little bit, and if the rain is raining hard or blowing, then even if I'm underneath the poncho, I'm still going to get wet. And so I definitely don't want my sleeping bag getting wet, because that's going to get me cold. If it gets wet a lot, it's going to get moldy, and those aren't good things. So basically, a bivy, for those of you who don't know, is just a sack which goes over your sleeping bag, which is waterproof and which can serve as your shelter. So you don't even need a shelter over the top of you. You don't need a tent, you don't need a poncho, you don't need a tarp. But if it rains when you're in a Bivy sack, it's not going to be very comfortable. So just keep that in mind. It's not. You will be able to use it as your shelter, just the waterproof bag over your sleeping bag, but it's not going to be very comfortable in there, and you're probably going to get leakage in, especially where your head would be coming out and stuff like that. But it can be useful for that reason. I use it primarily as a way to keep warmth inside of my sleeping bag, because it prevents warm air from escaping. And also this one over here, the trifecta, has a aluminum layer on the inside which keeps it from, basically reflects the heat back at my body. And so this is the one that I used last year. This is the trifecta with the aluminum on the inside. It's a little bit roomier, and I used it all last winter and had no problems. It definitely kept me warm, but I thought, well, maybe it's just the fact that it keeps the air in, not the aluminum reflective, which is making it warm. So I've been doing an experiment this year, the last few days actually, basically testing it out to see if the reflective makes a big difference. And I'll say it makes a huge difference. Like last night, for example, the last two nights I kind of switched between them, and I was way warmer in the trifecta than I was in the Snug Pack Special Forces Bivy over here. So anyways, I'll show you both of them more close up, talk about kind of the advantages of them, and then wrap it up from there. Okay, so this is the Special Forces Bivy. I like this one partially because it's black, and of course, that's probably a very big reason for me. I do like the color black, and it's very simple. So it's just got this one zip right here on the center line, so it's nice because it's easy to pop up out of there. And the sleeping bag set that it is designed to come with, it's a colder sleeping bag with a warmer sleeping bag, which you put inside of each other, and then you put inside this bag, and they all have the zipper in the exact same spot. So I was kind of thinking in the long term I was going to go down that road, and so that's why I got this Bivy. Another reason why I got it. But anyways, it is, I'm not sure of the material. It's some sort of synthetic, obviously. It's very thin. It's extremely lightweight. That's another reason I got it. It doesn't keep heat in very well. So it does keep the air in, but it seems to be very conductive to heat. So if it's cold on the outside, it's going to be cold, and it touching your sleeping bag is going to transfer that heat as well very quickly, which doesn't seem to happen with the trifecta. The trifecta, I think it may just be the material, the fact that it's basically Tyvek, which is a form of plastic, but it just doesn't seem to have that same level of transferring heat through touch out of your sack situation. Another downside about this one is it's a little bit smaller, so it is tighter, and it will compress the down or the loft of your sleeping bag, which you need loft to keep warm, and so this kind of hinders you in that way. And also, if you are stinky, like maybe you have gas or something like that, this thing seems to hold in smells, and so you'll definitely notice that. So anyways, I think I'm going to pack this into my backup setup, right? My backup setup, because this one is definitely way better. And so if I ever lose my backpack for some reason, I can come and find my secret stash, and I'll have this as a second option. So here's the trifecta. It only comes in green, which is too bad. Too bad. But I'd rather be warm than have black. So here's the aluminum. You can see it's a little bit reflective. It's not as strong as like Mylar or like aluminum foil, but like I said, it does make a really big difference. It is a little bit heavier, but not much. It's like 2 ounces heavier. It is way roomier, so it's not going to compress your sleeping bag at all. And also it has a zipper which can close. So you can see it's got the zipper here, and this is where you would climb in, and the zipper goes all along here and all along the entire length. So basically you can close it up. If it gets really cold, you can just leave yourself a tiny little air hole here and kind of put your head against here, and this thing just by itself is going to raise your temperature by like 15 degrees inside. So anyways, and this also is nice because it can be used as a shelter. The fact that it can be opened up, and it does have little tie out points, so you can use it just like a tarp or a poncho if you ever want to. That's not something I use it for, but it can be used that way. So another thing that you have to think about when you're using a bivy is condensation. When you are sleeping in a sleeping bag and when it is cold outside, your body is constantly giving off moisture. This is happening all the time, but it's constantly giving off moisture. Also, when you're breathing, you're giving off a lot of moisture, and when it's cold outside, it's going to catch on things that it can't permeate. So it can permeate your clothes, it can permeate your sleeping bag, and then it's going to hit that Bivy Sack layer, and it's not going to be able to go anywhere. So this one gets a lot of condensation on it, and this one actually is pretty breathable, which is interesting because it actually is waterproof. Like, you can put big pools of water on that thing and it's not going to leak through, but still the moisture is going to escape a little bit better. And also, again, this, like, if you're having gas or if you're a little bit smelly, this thing doesn't seem to contain that. So anyways, this thing, the trifecta, I would say if you're looking for a Bivy Sack, definitely go with this thing. This thing is also very inexpensive compared to most Bivy Sacks. Most Bivy Sacks are over $100. This thing is under $100. And like I said, I slept in that basically every night all last winter, and I'm going to continue doing so. I think it is probably something you'll have to replace every couple of years because it is a little bit of a less sturdy material, I would say. It's doing really good, but I think that eventually it's going to wear out. But the fact that it's fairly inexpensive makes that not really a problem, assuming that, you know, we still have the internet and the ability to buy things, so, which we may not always have. So maybe I'll buy another one of these extra right in the coming months. So anyways, this is the trifecta. This is the one I recommend. This is the one I'm going to continue to use. My website, the gear page on my website, is going to be updated to reflect this one. It has been showing this one because this is what I've been using during the summer and kind of early fall months, but I'm switching back to this, and I'm just going to stay with this. So you can get this on togosystems.com. I think it's the trifecta version 4. This one is pretty good, and among the other Bivy Sacks that I have used in my day, this is still number 2 out of all the ones that I've used, with this one being number 1. So, but this one again is really expensive. So it's the Snug Pack Special Forces Bivy. So anyways, that's my rundown on my Bivy Sacks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.